Kithulgoda. Miss Eranti Kithulgoda. She there? So. He is a lecturer in English at the Department of Languages, Faculty of Management, Social Sciences and Humanities at the General Sir John Patalao Defence University.
Good afternoon, distinguished Chair, Dean, fellow presenters, lecturers, students, ladies and gentlemen. Within the next 10 minutes, I'm going to present to you my research titled as what you see on the screen, Crossing Over to the Other Side, Attitudes Towards English Held by Sinhala Medium Humanities and Social Sciences Undergraduates of Sri Lankan Universities. So when it comes to language teaching or the teaching of any subject matter for that matter, the psychological factor plays a major role in the educational process of students. And Ivan L. Russell, in his chapter on development of attitudes, interests, and values, expounds, education functions in an atmosphere largely determined by the attitudes, interests, and values of pupils, teachers, administrators, parents, and school board members. So attitudes is stressed there, and therefore it highlights the importance of the psychological component of education. And Hogg and Vaughan define attitudes as a relatively enduring organization of beliefs, feelings, and behavioral tendencies towards socially significant objects, groups, events, and symbols. And the statement makes it clear that not only do attitudes have a psychological function on the individual, but it equally carries a behavioral function that directs the individual holding a particular attitude to behave in a certain manner. So the attitude influences the way we behave towards a subject matter. And we look at three basic components of attitudes given by Morley in 1968 as well. We have the affective component, which is what a person feels, the cognitive component, the knowledge a person has, and the behavioral component, that is how the person reacts at a physical level to the object because of his attitude. Furthermore, the most importantly, attitude is considered to be an essential factor that influences language performance. So due to all these facts, it can be assumed that an attitude held regarding a particular subject, and which can be termed as a positive attitude, might enable the student to acquire knowledge in the field of study faster or in an easier manner compared to an area of study in which the student holds a negative attitude. So my study investigates whether the attitudes held by Sri Lankan Sinhala Medium University undergraduates in the humanities and social sciences stream towards English language are positive or negative. And it takes into consideration the two emotional and cognitive aspects of attitude. And it also attempts to determine whether their attitudes are a product of university education and environment, or whether the attitudes have deeper roots. And it also whether undergraduate attitudes differ in terms of gender would equally be looked into, which is a part from my main study. And if I may speak on the student community. So in a student community such as that of the university undergraduates, where nationalistic feelings seemingly run high and where many politicized factions pose as an anti-Western force, it seems that English as a foreign language with its colonial connotations has evoked varying perceptions. So I'm saying seemingly. And this becomes apparent through some of the terms this particular subculture, which the researcher was once part of, employs to refer to English and English-speaking groups. Kadda polishda is a commonly used question inquiring as to whether an individual is fluent in English in the university subculture. And more importantly, these undergraduates of humanities and social sciences streams who offer their degrees in the Sinhala medium lack certain exposure to English compared to their English medium peers. So the question as to what attitudes the Sinhala medium undergraduates really hold, whether they realize the value of English, is something that hasn't been researched so far. If they do realize the value of English, then the question is as to why these undergraduates openly scorn the use of English within the university, and why, through the experience that I have had as a visiting and project lecturer of UGC, and also as a university undergraduate myself some time back, the question is also as to why there is low attendance for English lectures in local and national universities, apart from the earlier questions that I also mentioned. And to talk about the methodology, the researchers selected a sample of 84 undergraduates, 46 female and 38 male undergraduates from the arts faculties of 4 national universities, Kelaniya, Ruhuna, Peradeniya and Jayawardhanapura, whose medium of instruction with regard to their degree subject is Sinhala. And the undergraduates belong to varying streams of academic study. So questionnaires translated into Sinhala were used as the principal data collection tool in a clustered sampling survey while conducting face-to-face interviews of 20 randomly selected undergraduates. And the attitude and motivation test battery designed by Gardner was taken as a guideline in formulating the questionnaire. And 6 subscales, namely attitude towards foreign languages, attitude towards learning English, attitude towards foreign native speakers of English, attitude towards local native speakers of English, integrative orientation, instrumental orientation, were chosen and adapted from this test battery that I just mentioned in order to test the general attitude held by undergraduates. And each subscale, each of these 6 subscales comprised 4 to 7 variables, that is 4 to 7 questions. And the questionnaire, which was quantitative in nature, contained Likert items ranging from 1 to 7 or 1 to 5. Now, to go to observations and findings, I will address each of these subscales one by one and discuss my findings. The first subscale is attitude towards foreign languages. It was found that the attitude towards that the attitude of these Sinhala medium undergraduates towards foreign languages is quite positive. If you can see the point in red, it's 5.89. On a Likert scale of 1 to 7, the response averaged to nearly 7. But although overall positive, as you can see, there is a difference between male and female averages, a significant difference actually. And regarding attitudes held by undergraduates of humanities and social sciences faculties towards learning English, the attitude towards learning English as a second language is positive at nearly 6 points, and this is true of both males and females. And that is also a very positive attitude, as I can term it. It's 5.59. However, in sharp contrast to these mentioned aspects of attitude, we have the attitude towards foreign native speakers on English, and that is 3.84. So the attitude of students or undergraduates towards foreign native speakers of English is negative for both male and for female undergraduates. So although these undergraduates have a positive attitude towards foreign languages and the learning of it, the positivity is not extended to its speakers. this can be termed as a post-colonial mentality, as some researchers have termed it a couple of decades ago, except for the findings in the next section, that is attitude towards native speakers of English. And that is also 3.77. So the undergraduates project even more negativity about local native English speakers than they do about foreign native speakers of English. And the female undergraduates feel it slightly more so than male undergraduates, as you can see in the statistics. But strangely, statistics indicate that although these undergraduates are negative towards both foreign and native English speakers, they display a high score for integrative orientation on the Likert scale, thereby displaying their desire to integrate with the very groups that they feel negatively about. And at the same time, they also realize the value of English language for practical purposes such as career development and improvement of social status. This, I think, is not an area of much doubt, since succeeding governments have tried various policies over the years to improve English, and researchers for decades, from Thirukandaya to researchers like Miloli Samarakodi, profess through their research findings the awareness of Sri Lankans as a whole of the importance of learning English for functional purposes. So Sri Lankans do realize the importance of English for functional purposes, and it includes university undergraduates as well. And with reference to the satisfaction level of students about their English language education during school years, on a scale of 1 to 5, from very dissatisfied to very satisfied, the question scored 2.67 on the scale. And I think this is in line with what Professor Mari Pereira was also speaking about in her research. And I also found that there is a negative correlation between the undergraduates' attitudes towards learning English and their level of satisfaction about English language education they had at school. It means that despite their low satisfaction level about the English language education they received at school, Sinhala medium undergraduates of humanities and social sciences faculties entertain positive attitudes towards learning English. So these findings appear to be complex in terms of the emotional aspect of undergraduate attitudes. While undergraduates express a very high interest in foreign languages and a positive attitude towards learning English, they do not harbor a positive attitude towards either foreign or local native English speakers. So this juxtaposes with the results of their integrative orientation towards English, which indicates a relatively strong attitude towards knowing English for integrative purposes. So I would say that the overall data analysis points towards a dichotomy in undergraduate attitude, where the Sinhala medium undergraduates of humanities and social sciences faculties, while perceiving fluent speakers of English negatively, desire to be fluent in English in their own rights. And till they become members of the community of the proficient speakers of English, and as I term it, till they cross over to the other side is considered to be hostile ground for them. And I have run short of time, but if there are questions, I would like to answer them at the end of the session. And I would like to end it with one quotation by Derek Walcott, poet and playwright, Nobel Prize winner. The English language is nobody's special property. It is the property of the imagination. It is the property of the language itself. Thank you.